And on the sidelines of the roundtable dialogue with Premier Li Keqiang, we sit down with one of the leaders of the 6 major international economic and financial institutions, Ryder, Director General of the International Labour Organization. Our reporter Martina Fuchs started by asking him about the main issues discussed during the meeting.
2 issues, really. Firstly, the global situation, the state of the world economy. And there I think people were very straightforward. It's not a great picture. We're seeing very slow growth in the global economy, and that obviously has implications, particularly for labour markets, for jobs and people's living standards. And within that global context, we talked a lot about China. And China has reset its growth trajectory. It's going through a major process of structural change and reform, and we discussed in detail both the good prospects that change brings, but also some of the challenges, which are considerable.
According to ILO data, around 200 million people around the world were unemployed by the end of last year, and you're also expecting a rise in unemployment over the next 2 years. What is your view, especially on the Chinese labour market?
Yeah, you're right. At the global level, again, unfortunately, we are seeing a continuing increase in global unemployment, simply because the economy is not growing quickly enough to absorb the 40 million plus people who come onto the labour market, young people, every year. Now, within that context, China looks a bit different. China, although it has slowed down to this new normal, the new normal looks quite good to most of the world. So I think China's probably got some better employment prospects. I think the big challenge for China is how to reconcile this structural change, this movement from the investment export model to the internal consumption high value model, and negotiate that in a way which maintains and promotes jobs. That's a big challenge for China.
China is shifting its economic growth model from an investment-led to a consumption-driven growth. Now they have kicked off a lot of initiatives such as Manufacturing 2025, also in the areas of e-commerce and robotics. A lot of things are going on. What kind of new opportunities does that offer to the job market?
Well, I think it means 2 things. Firstly, it means that there are areas, there are sectors, and one speaks about steel and about coal in particular, where you have overcapacity, and clearly people are going to have to be shaken out of those sectors. Where do they go to? Well, they obviously go to these new high-value sectors that China is putting emphasis upon. That's not so easy to do, and I think it requires a number of things. It requires retraining, reskilling of workers. We have to try to anticipate the skills that are required by this new economy, and that's not always easy to identify.